basket. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot, I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of our presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit educational or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Welcome back to the garden. What's growing on? What's growing on? What's growing on? Welcome back to B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris, and we also have Farmer Brown, the MC. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a blessed day. I hope you see nothing but abundance coming your way. And yes, here at B1AG, we talk about Black agriculture from the aspect of agricultural production, education, marketing, food, health, nutrition, and economics, all for the Black family, the Black community. So what's growing on? How's it growing? How you feel? Wiggle your toes if you feel good. I hope everybody's wiggling their toes and feeling great. We have a great story for you today. Now, as the U.S. economy continues to reopen, there have been glaring shortages across all business sectors, including labor. Yes, America claims that there is a weird dynamic in the economy right now where there is a shortage of labor. However, you have 20 million people who are on the brink of eviction and food insecurity, but there's a shortage on labor. It's the weirdest thing. Experts point to the pandemic, supply chain disruptions, and increased demand, consumer demand, as reasons for shortage on goods. But it's the labor shortage that has many economists pointing in different directions for answers. U.S. agriculture is a huge part of this economy, but a lot of people don't realize, it's a huge part of the economy because we all have to eat. But the U.S. is also the world's larger exporter of agricultural products. And this labor shortage has affected the agricultural world in a very negative manner. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, is how the labor shortage continues to make negative effects on agriculture. And it also is causing a rise in food prices. We're going to dive deep into it today. We do have a short video to show for you. But before that, Farmer Brown, got some work?
I got some trivia for you. So how many, as of January 2021, how many Black, what we'll call Black-owned businesses are in North America?
At this time right now?
Mm-hmm.
Black-owned businesses?
Mm-hmm. Don't cheat.
Including all the barbershops and beauty salons and...
I'll give you a hint. The majority are in healthcare and social assistance. But how many total Black-owned businesses?
I would say about 280,000.
Half of that, 124,551.
That's a small number.
124,551 out of a group of 45 million plus. I think is more, but out of 45 million plus. Also, so how many what we call Black Americans are in the workforce?
That's hard right now. It's hard to tell for me because of the labor shortage. all this stimulus. In the workforce, I'm gonna say 17 million.
Oh man, 19. There's
Yeah.
still 2 million human beings that got to eat and have families and have aspirations. 125,000 owners, 19 million workers. And I'm not saying that disparagingly. You know, I have a job at the moment. I own 3 businesses, but I also have a job. Saying that to say, okay, when we dig into some of the reasons why this exists, I think a lot of us are waking up, not just other occupants of Turtle Island or this land, but overall, people are waking up. Like, okay, is it, you know, people are doing a time analysis, because all in my mind we have on this planet is our time, energy, and the resources that we're able to accumulate. Is it worth me giving X amount of my hours to this business when, okay, I'm getting more just by sitting at home? Rationale does kick in. Okay, this that I'm getting while I'm sitting at home is going to cut off. You know, there's a cutoff point. But a lot of these jobs are expecting people come back with low wages. I was looking at a report yesterday. This was in the Commonwealth of Kentucky that 97% of black workers don't want to go back to the office. These are people that have jobs, but 97% of them just don't want to go back to the office. There's a lot of changes going on, kind of prefacing this conversation. But the optimist in me sees a lot of opportunity, honestly.
Now, as far as the labor shortage and how it is negatively affecting agriculture, what it's really doing is it's causing a cost in the rise of food. Now, despite the rise in food costs, farmers are predicted to lose 9.7% of the total net income in 2021, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Farmers are facing difficult challenge because as their income decreases, there's an increase in consumer demand and also a decrease in labor. So you have more people wanting more products, more food, but the farmer's making less money and he has less labor to produce this higher, to try to fulfill this higher consumer demand. So it's really causing problems. And that's all because, and then there's a shortage of products anyway, as far as finished products and value added products. So it's a very bad, it's just a bad storm. It's like the perfect bad storm, and trying to figure out a way to deal with it. Now, although there's a shortage of labor and it is negatively affecting agriculture and it's causing food prices to rise, there's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity. And one thing, and the biggest opportunity is if you have a CDL license. If you have a CDL right now, you have a golden ticket. For instance, up in New York, there is a company called Chef's Warehouse. They supply food for businesses, including restaurants and hotels. Now, during the pandemic, a lot of restaurants and hotels had to close. They had to close their doors. So that affected his business directly. But now that the economy is slowly opening and reopening, that that demand is back. And and if you have a CDLs right now, you're guaranteed to make over 6 figures. And also this company here, Chef's Warehouse, they actually have had to bring in truckers from Alabama. They're literally bringing in truckers from Alabama, putting them up in hotels in the Bronx at their cost and paying them a 6 figure wage. If you have a CDL and you drive trucks, you're in transportation logistics, there's a great opportunity for you in the midst of this labor shortage. But I do have a short video that I would like to show you about this labor shortage. Let me bring this up for you.
Now let's stay on this job news. There's good news if you are looking for work because job openings have reached record numbers as America reopens and demand surges. The Labor Department recorded 9.3 million available jobs in April. That's 1 million more than just in March, but things are tough for small businesses. 48% say they're struggling to find qualified workers to fill those vacancies. And it's leading to record rates of people quitting their jobs, actually. NBC News senior business reporter Ben Popkin joins us now. Ben, good morning. So fill us in on what's going on here. Why are we seeing so many companies struggle to fill open positions when we know people need jobs?
Well, across society right now, we're seeing this sort of great sorting out happening in the labor market. I mean, just because there's job openings doesn't mean that those who are out of work are the right people to fill them. I've interviewed many experienced unemployed workers. They say they can't find work in their field, and they're not going to run out for these entry-level hourly jobs and start lifting boxes, say, for Amazon. But according to surveys, workers are also staying home due to virus concerns, childcare issues, caring for family members. And there's a bit of a catch-up. During lockdown, if you were lucky enough to have a job, you held on to one. So last year during the pandemic, we saw about 6 million fewer people quitting than we usually would. There's a bit of catch-up, and as labor markets opening up, people are more willing to take those leaps, quit, change job. That's tightening the labor market further, causing workers to expect or hold out for higher wages.
And now, according to the Labor Department, Ben, 1/3 of people who quit their jobs came from the retail sector. Now, many of those employees cite pay as the reason for quitting. I mean, walk us through that, because, of course, if you quit, then you're not getting a paycheck at all. But what do these companies need to do to retain these employees?
Well, let's take a step back and look at things a bit. Women make up the majority of the workforce in retail, and women disproportionately have had to bear the childcare burdens during the pandemic. With childcare prices higher, availability low, they have to juggle. Can they really make enough to cover the cost of someone watching their kids? And if workers are quitting because they say wages are too low, the answer seems a little obvious. We might want to raise wages. Retail operates on thin margins, and they've been reluctant to cut into those margins. So some businesses may have to rethink their model, compete on wages, offering signing bonuses and incentives. They're going to have to get creative and listen to employee needs.
Yeah, we've actually heard some pretty cool stories about that, about what companies are doing that are kind of these unique things to help employees. Now, many employees say they want to continue working from home. This is a big one. I mean, employers are planning for a return to the office. Let's talk about how companies navigate this new culture. Will we see a permanent change to office life? I mean, it's kind of funny. I've actually been talking to people here because, look, we all signed up for these jobs thinking that they were in a building that is, in some physical location. But then this year showed us kind of what we can and can't do, what is working and isn't working. How do companies navigate that?
Well, what's in vogue is a sort of the hybrid office approach with flexibility. So some employees are in the office while others are remote, depending on their needs and concerns, beaming into team meetings. We'll see how long this lasts. While this kind of avoids some tough decisions on the front end, experts warn that down the line, it has the potential to build resentment between the remote workers who think their colleagues are getting FaceTime, being seen as more committed, while the office-bound may resent those working from home who no longer have to face long commutes and get to do a load of laundry between tasks. So managers really need to think hard, top to bottom, what are the actual requirements for every position and role? And make conscious, thoughtful decisions to create and recreate that team cohesion, and also avoid discrimination by managers and coworkers, especially as companies are trying to pursue diversity hiring goals, hire people who may not be able to afford to work in those headquarters cities, and make sure that workers are being treated fairly.
Yeah, somebody said this week to me, Ben, I don't really want to go back because now in between meetings, I get on my Peloton. I'm like, yeah, that's not something you could do at the office. All right, sure. Ben, sure. Thank you so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for.
So, Farmer Brown, I just want to talk about very quickly about, working from home. I got an alert on Facebook yesterday, about your memories. And yesterday, yesterday, 1 year ago yesterday, I caught COVID. Yesterday was my 1 year anniversary of COVID. I caught COVID at work. You know, they had us all gassed up, essential workers, you know, and be proud, you know, you're keeping America going. And I catch COVID at work. And I don't ever want to have to go into work again. Working from home has been a godsend. And for a lot of companies, I mean, just not having the overhead of having to supply a building with electricity and air conditioning and heating, that'll probably open up their bottom line some more to where they can put that money elsewhere. But what do you think about it, Farmer Brown? Are you ready to go back into the office?
I had a similar, so I had COVID last February, and I'm pretty sure I got it from the office. I know I had done some traveling in January, but I just remember the office space, the extension office I work in, there's multiple other people in there. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm lightweight traumatized by it. And so I've been fortunate to work remotely since then. And, you know, given the choice of working remotely in the office, obviously, I would rather work from home. But saying that to say, not getting away from your question, and it made me think as they were talking, there's a lot more people working and earning than who are registered as employees or owners. When I say 125,000 business owners, I would imagine it's double that, if not triple that, of people who are just industrious. They may not have a business license, may not be, you know, in some sort of registry. And so I don't want to paint this picture that we're just all just workers. There are industrious people who get up in the morning, they have a service or product that they create, and they sell it to people, and they conduct business and feed their families. When we're talking about agriculture, specifically in this space, there are opportunities. Right now, there is a worker shortage. A lot of the I'll say many farmers I know don't have farm IDs, but they have productive operations. A lot of times the farm IDs are necessary if you want government funding, if you want access to some of the, some of the grants or whatever programs are available. That's one of the prerequisites. But on the flip side, when we're talking about, you know, being self-reliant, and, you know, I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you're self-reliant, if you're self-sufficient, if you have a built-in market, people who's already shopping with you, obviously you want to make sure the quality of your product is good. And so you don't want to just cut all corners. But when it comes to doing business, if you don't have to get a loan, that's even better. If you don't have to wait on a government who keeps kicking the can down the road, that's even better. These create the jobs that we're talking about aren't being filled. If I'm somebody that my job is to go to this building and get a basket of apples and take them to building B, whether I'm written down on the role as an employee or not, as long as I'm doing that job effectively, I'm taking a quality product to the consumer, I'm employed. I think a lot of times we do, and this is just my personal opinion, I can only speak for myself, I think these numbers are confusing us. And I think there are some factions that are using numbers to, you know, kind of strike fear into people. And as Tariq Nasheed will call it, pull-up summer, even mentally, this is a pull-up summer where people have almost had it. Like, okay, I'm not going to keep running on this hamster wheel. And so I think as people are coming to this epiphany of, okay, I'm going to boss up, I'm going to take more control over my life. Here at B1AG, we really want to get people who are starting to tap into that industriousness to really look at our food system. It's great to do products. You know, I do children's books. My children's books are affected if I have to order them from China or somewhere overseas, versus this problem with the food prices going up and there being more demand for food. The simple solution to that is localizing your food system. And so every job that's needed when you have a broader food system, the shipping, distribution, storage, production, harvesting, these are all jobs that can still be applied where you are locally. Am I on here saying, yeah, if I just start producing locally, I'm going to be a millionaire? That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the system we have now, at one time, I have $1, you have an apple. I give you this $1, you give me the apple. We got to a point, and I know what is it, 40%, the majority of farmers in North America are subsidized. meaning the government, they're not necessarily earning the money from their produce or their operation more so than the government is subsidizing their operation. That's not good. That's not bad. But we know in the B1 community, our farmers aren't getting subsidized by the government. They're actually being undermined in many ways. When it comes to loans, yeah, we'll give you loans, but any other sort of subsidy, anything else to kind of help your operation, yeah, you know, you have to get it how you live. So saying that to say, we got to get to the essence of production. And as we do that, it's the goal is to build a sustainable system where you're not dependent on all of these outside factions to supplement your business. You want to do straight up business. I have something of value. You have something of value that I'm willing to trade this with you. And from there, we build this economy. We've talked about how currency or our concept of money is changing before our eyes. It's going digital. So, you know, once again, our mind's there. The word right now, I've heard a lot of content creators talking about these trades. This is a great time to learn a trade. I mean, I'm wrestling in my mind like, man, you know, it's okay. I know how to grow food, but what else can I learn as a trade, as a needed skill? If all the electricity goes off or the grid goes down, what are the needs within this food system? Somebody's going to have to be able to work with wood and structures and build. If you're okay, I can't depend on the factories or warehouses that we used to have to store our food. And so now we need more localized food storage locations. Okay, maybe these people are tripping about selling this property. They just want to lease it to us. And so do we have people who already own property? You're like, okay, you know, you bring some builders here to build this space to store it. And I'm being generic, but kind of making a point of plumbing. Plumbing is a problem on farms, believe it or not. Waste management. Right now, one of the cases that are being made, you know, the greenhouse gases, you know, trying to be a more eco-friendly country is based around waste, you know, livestock waste, residue from pesticides and herbicides going into the rivers. And so all of these are skill sets that can be applied locally. The chefs, I was speaking to some kids yesterday. One little girl, I don't want to farm, I just want to be a chef. And I was kind of tying, you know, I was trying to make the point to them because they were in 4th grade. And I'm like, by the time you're my age, you know, this concept of preparing food is going to be totally different. It ain't going to be like you just have kitchens and you bake biscuits anymore. I mean, you're competing with machines that can create lab-grown meat. We're in an age where you're now going to get your food delivered to you in a drone. And so how are we seizing upon these changes? It's not to say you support the change or against the change, more so than how can we create our own niche within it. But this is a great opportunity because we're literally watching in front of us all of the areas that are voided. And so, like I was saying to the melanated family, okay, we see where they want the workers to go back to. Now, are we going to go back to them as workers, or are we going to go back as contractors?
I don't know. I kind of like that word contractor. That just has a better ring to it than worker to me. You know, contractor. You know, that sounds a little bit more equitable, a lot more fairer. If you can put yourself in a position as a contractor, you know, you have a lot more control as you're offering your services and they accept it for payment. Yeah, I like contractor as opposed to worker. Now, in the field of agriculture, like we're showing, there's a lot of opportunities. Opportunities are there. We need to jump on them. Now, consequences of us not jumping on them. Okay, now you got increased farm wages, decreases the income for the farmers, right? So once the farmer has a smaller income with the reduced labor availability, along with increased consumer demand, what that forces the farmer to do is to make production changes. Now, when we say production changes, that could mean, okay, well, I'm not going to grow this year. Well, I have to grow this year. It could mean, let me bring in these robots to come pick my my produce. It could mean I can't produce at all this season.
Ag enterprise. ag enterprise. And I'm not throwing shade on producers, but a lot of farmers, context is everything. If you don't see what your operation as an enterprise versus, this is a family business, it can make all the difference in the world. And one of the big words, when I was doing my research, is diversify your operation. Unfortunately, a lot of farmers are making their money raising livestock and ranching, and we see that, okay, there's this encroaching force that's going to minimize the amount of people that's going to get money raising livestock. And so, okay, am I willing to start maybe a little bit more vegetable production instead of doing monocropping? And this is where you have like hundreds of acres of the same crop. Maybe I'm going to start breaking this up and just work on really tapping into this local market instead of depending on China or foreign buyers. Okay, maybe year 1, year 2, year 3, I might take a little hit, but as I'm taking this hit from what I was used to doing, I'm gonna start building my operation to a more localized model because these people need produce. Farm tours, agritourism. It sounds corny. I'm not gonna say it sounds corny. It sounds crazy, but agritourism goes to, okay, maybe you're just hosting farm tours. Maybe I'm a beautified space that normally I was running some livestock, or maybe I was planting something. Okay, there's not a market for it. I'm gonna create a market where, I'm gonna work with some of these local youth groups. I'm gonna work with some of the local schools to do outdoor learning. We heard this talk about the Delta variant coming. I imagine it's gonna be Delta, Gamma. We're gonna have a lot of other justified or not justified reasons given to keep locking people down or this virtual learning. I guarantee that's going to happen. And so instead of reacting to it, how can we be proactive and at the same time diversifying operations? Is this saying that every black farm in America can become a agritourism destination? That's not what I'm saying. However, if you look at it, so we have millions of students, K through 12th grade. When we have these podcasts, we talk with people and people are like, yeah, we need to get the youth. We need to get the youth. I mean, it is worth a couple $100 when we do the farm tours we do. We're able to shoot the farmers a couple of hundred, sometimes a couple of thousand to host farm to table dinners. This same method could apply towards a school districts, just contracting with different schools. Yeah. Over the course of a year, we're going to bring X amount of your students out to our farm. Serve you a lunch. Can I get a contract to make sure you're going to buy at least 60% of your lunch from what I'm producing here? Just thinking outside of the box of just, okay, I'm going to plant this, put it on the truck, and then it's going to go somewhere, and I hope I have a market for it. Weddings, nature hikes. I know through the neighborhoods right now up here in Kentucky, people are riding four-wheelers. Do we have farmers that's willing, okay, maybe I'm going to allocate a couple of acres of just four-wheeling. People that are looking for alternative forms of recreation, silvopasture, growing trees. Okay, maybe in year 1, maybe the next 10 years, I'm not going to get a profit, but I'm also not going to lose money trying to grow something that there's not a market for. But I'm going to get some high value trees and go on and have them started here. And whenever this little economic thing that we see going on settles, I'll still have a product that people need. Pine wood is going to be just as valuable now as it is 10 years from now, as it is from 20 years from now, because it'll be used for something that people need. And so once again, it's really trying to codify our minds around a long-term strategy versus just reacting to what's going on. What do we understand? Land always appreciates in value. If they say follow the money, we see these rich people are going after land. And so as a producer, I'm not a proponent, hey, just sit on your land. Like I would never say that. But once again, when you're thinking long term, you can't immediately say, okay, year 1, I'm going to start making profit. I guarantee you the big timers in the ag world, the ag Illuminati, so to speak, they got a 50-year, 100-year plan of what's going on. So right now, there's people right now getting all sorts of resources because of people acting out of panic. And so what I'm saying to the B1 family is, how can we as consumers, how can we as educators, how can we as people in the community that care, put our influence? Because it doesn't take everybody. It doesn't take everybody. But how can you get a critical mass to start not only talking about it, but actually either putting some time, energy, or resource into enriching the farms that do exist? volunteering to bring some groups out and paying some of these farmers to host. It gets the kids out of the neighborhood for a while. These are just a few ideas, but something's got to be done, because if we're dependent on this market as it is, we see that we keep losing. And I'm allergic to losses.
Farm Brain, you brought up a lot of good ideas about the diversifying. And, you gave a lot of great ideas that farmers could actually do. Now, how can we get that message to the farmers more directly? Because I'm pretty sure, the farmers are out there in the fields and not necessarily sitting here watching us right now. So what is the best way, do you think, we can get that positive message to the farmers themselves, to the producers, on how they can diversify their operations to bring in more money as well as promote their farm?
I'm being funny, but not thinking outside of the box. It would be cool if some of the people who get attention on social media doing whatever it is they do, whether it's beefing, whatever it is, take some farm tours. Do your podcast or whatever from a farm. Pay one of these farmers for a hayride. Attract people. Seeing is believing. It's easy for you and I to just sit here. Maybe we do need to start. I'm gonna start putting on some footage from some of what we got going on in Kentucky. But people got to see it first. Words are only going to do so much. We're people that react to, okay, I see what you're talking about. So you stop talking, I see it. And so just making that visual, all it takes is a handful of people. And there are groups, social media groups that do have these visuals. But like you're saying, how do you mainstream it? I would hate to say it. Maybe you need to go to a farm, a beautiful farm. Maybe I need to go to a beautiful farm and just start talking shit to each other and just start beefing. And then hopefully subconscious, oh man, they're talking crazy. Mama's cooking, but I love that background. Oh, that background is so beautiful. Mama's cooking. But seeing, really seeing, seeing ourselves, seeing this melanin with this green background, with this beautiful blue background. Like I said, most of these farmers do have tractors. Hay bale rides. These are tight. We bring people in from the city on these tours and they love it. You'd be surprised how many people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s have not been on a farm since they were children. You would be surprised how many children put their phones away when they see a cow for the first time, when they see a pig or a chicken for the first time. You'd be surprised how well your kids sleep when you done had them running around on this flat safe space. It's incentivized farmers to make sure they take care of this plot. But these kids run around and get tired. And so once again, this can be applied, because anywhere where we're at, especially the melanated family, there are black farms within 50 to 100 miles of where you are. Like I said, it's not going to be everybody. But if you could get a critical mass, start taking these Instagram or Snapchat, the terms that I'm talking about, really capturing these images of us having a good time, not just, advertising, per se, hey, look what I'm doing, my great life, but just really making this a subculture, subconsciously saying, hey, y'all, this is what we do. And from there, like I said, this is when these farmers can now create a whole new economy of, okay, I was talking to a lady yesterday and they do very well. She said they make about $1,000 a day just selling green beans at the farmer's market 4 days a week on 4 acres. No, they have 7 acres. Wow. Black lady, just as nonchalant. She's like, she works at a school. She's like, I make more money than my principal, but just as cool. But saying that to say is finding a specific niche. But I was making that point to say they're going to start doing tourism to supplement income. And we're going to have our daughters host these tours. Our daughters are in college, but when they come home from college for the summer, they're going to host the tours on our farm. We're going to break them up into sections. We're going to have a little tent set up. They're going to eat. And I'm a contract with these local schools to bring you a group of 20 out, bring you a group of 50 out. Make sure you got at least 5 chaperones. And sign your your waivers. Now, if you come out here and you're messing around, I'm not liable. All of these are things in play because insurance is a thing. I'm being serious, and so you don't want anybody injured. You don't want to get to a point where we're so desperate trying to make money that, we're cutting the quality of whatever the product or service we're providing. But these are realistic things that I've seen with my eyes. I know there's many great ideas that people have, but I have no background in ag business. More so than I understand marketing. I understand, hey, it's a lot of us that haven't even been around this. And I know just with our company in Kentucky, we barely scratched the surface of melanated people who will spend some money. And white folks, other folks appreciate these venues too. Here at B1AG, we're talking about how can we make it rain on our black farmers. Like I said, we do need to buy more produce for health reasons. But when we see that agriculture as a whole is taking a hit like this, you got to know that black farmers are getting hit worse. And so as a community, when we say, how can we help? Call your local extension agency. Hey, they'll call them minority farmers. Cooperative extension. Do y'all have a list of minority farmers? Go online. Shop Black US got a list that was as of 2019. If you go on Facebook, there's a Black Farmers Nationwide group, Federation of Southern Cooperatives, and so they have a large database of farmers in the Southeast. But find these farmers, groups like Ridall up in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, these brothers have their operation is masterful, and they're in the middle of a hood, and not enough people know about it. I was maybe 3 streets away from them, and there's some kids that was excited about the thought of knowing something like that existed where they were at. And so this goes back to really doing a grassroots effort. A lot of the content creators are seeing that people are getting shadow banned. All of these little nefarious things or technical things, whatever, it does come to a point where we're going to have to do some face-to-face business, some face-to-face promotion, becoming real people again with each other. And promoting, hey, I just want to bring a group of kids out here to you. I'm willing to tell you something. And if you do X amount of them per year, this adds to a whole new economy for some of these farmers. It helps them to get equipment to produce more, to where they're not sitting on waiting on the Farmers of Color Act to fall through, where they're not waiting on debt forgiveness, or where they're not having to put themselves in debt because they have a local community of melanated people and people who understand that, like, hey, instead of putting them in a beggar situation or a situation where they're waiting, nope, I'm going to take initiative as a consumer because I appreciate what these people represent in our community. These are the producers.
And if we don't take advantage of these opportunities, if we don't fill these holes, if we don't fill these needs, there's always automation, artificial intelligence that's waiting in the wings. It's not even in the wings, it's on deck. Matter of fact, it's not even on deck, it's up at bat. Automation and artificial intelligence is up at bat right now. And they have when I say they, it's the proverbial they, have no issues, quarrels, problems with giving a robot your job. They don't have to worry about vacation times with the robot or artificial intelligence. So if you want to learn how you grow your own food, please go to healthyblackfood.com. Sign up. We have a great, informative, interactive, colorful, cultural, soulful course where we're teaching you how to grow your own food. Go to healthyblackfood.com. If you have any questions whatsoever, just give us a holler at B1AgHipHop.com, B1AgHipHop@gmail.com. Send us the pictures of some of the things that you're growing. I don't care if if you have a farm, if you have a raised bed garden, or if you just have a flower that you're growing. Take a picture of it and show us. We want to share it with everyone else. And also, this is just a question. Let's grow our own food, y'all. Got to shore up our local food system. We need to make sure that we can eat. We need to make sure that we have clean water to drink. There's a mega drought going on right now on the West Coast. You know, the West Coast out in California, they're responsible for a lot of not only the country's produce, but globally, you know, they supply a lot of produce. So if they have no water and they're not able to grow this produce, that means the produce that we do have, we're going to have to share it a lot more, which means it's going to be a lot less available. So we need to be prepared and be already in the practice of supplementing our own diet, bringing more food in for ourselves so it won't be such an issue if and when these things come to pass. I'm telling you, the Colorado River's drying up. You know, you got states competing for water resources right now. My brother lives in Canada. Now where he's at, the average temperature year round is like 82 degrees. It was 118 degrees the other day. This weather is changing. This weather is changing. And we need to be prepared to change with it, not for just for survival. This is for survival. Healthyblackfood.com. Sign up. Healthyblackfood.com. Sign up. Sign up or unsubscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the B1AG Daily Bread podcast on YouTube. We have a lot of great information for you. Sign up, subscribe, and get this daily bread. At the end of the day, if you really want to know something, I'm talking about really know it, what do they need to do? What do the people need to do, Farmer Brown?
There's no business like grow business. Oh no. Learn how to grow something.
There it is. I'd like to thank y'all for coming and check us out at B1AG Daily Bread podcast. We're really going to work hard to bring you more content. We're really trying to expand. We want to spread the word, like and share, and subscribe. Help us build this platform to where we're talking about food, health, nutrition, agricultural production, opportunities, you know, entrepreneurship. We're talking about this on as much as we talk about reality TV, where we're talking about, you know, growing our own food as much as twerking. Like I want to see TikTok videos of people showing off their rutabagas and tomatoes and collard greens and things of such. You know what I'm saying? Instead of shaking their butts. You know, I grew up in Florida. I mean, you know, I grew up in a twerk culture, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up, Uncle Luke was the soundtrack. Two Live Crew was the soundtrack. So in a lot of ways, you know, you're talking about you got 80s babies, and I'm a twerk baby. You know, I was raised by twerking. But, you know, I also know that there's more things more important. There's a lot of things that are more important and a lot of things that are critical and key to our survival and also our expansion and just empowerment as a people, even as a race, not even just as a ethnicity race. I'm talking about human race. You know, this is going to be, you know, words like drought, famine. You know, these are not nice words, but they're on the, you know, they're just over the horizon if we don't make changes now. So y'all have a wonderful day. Put a seed in the ground today. If it's not a physical seed, it's plant a seed of love in somebody. Plant a seed of love in your neighborhood. Plant a seed of love in your city. Plant a seed of love for the country. You know, we need to grow some love too. And we don't just need to grow some food. We need to grow some love too. So everybody, make sure that y'all make sure you get your love seeds and plant them all over the country and all over the world as well. And we're glad to see you next time. You got anything to say? Well, we out of here, y'all. See y'all again soon. B1AG.